Hey guys, today I want to talk about Pokemon card investing. Finally, I'm back to this topic because you are not rich enough to invest in Pokemon cards, and nor am I. I got a ton of product here that I've invested in over the last couple years, and I'm starting to realize how poor I am that I can't invest in these products. There's a ton of products that I have sitting here, yet they need to be moved. Not because they're not making incredible gains, but because I'm not rich enough to invest in these products. And let me explain what I mean by that. All right. This is going to be probably a pretty controversial out there take because a lot of people are like, I'm going to buy my one booster box, sit on it for 10 years, and then make a huge profit. Yeah, sure. But let me just explain this, what I'm thinking. So, I got a ton of product here, but it's so scattered, right? I don't have $100,000 to put into one item. I might have $100,000 to put across 50 different items, but what meaningful difference does that make? If one thing goes up 10%, one thing goes down 5%, and whatever that happens across 50 items, it's you're not doing much. And if you have been in the market for a while and you're smart about it and you know what you're doing, then why would you do that? Why would you do that yourself? You would put, let's say 10-20% of your capital into something, right? One thing. But let's say you're starting, you only have $1,000. You really think that's enough to invest in Pokemon cards? Sure. Let's say you buy 10 booster boxes because everything's selling under MSRP. And you have to wait 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to sell it. What if that booster box doesn't reach whatever it reaches? Let's say it reaches $1,000, even $10,000 a box. You did extremely well, but are you going to be able to see that through? Are you going to be able to only buy 10 booster boxes and be happy with it? Or one booster box every release and be happy with it? Me personally, if I'm investing, I want to build an empire. I want to build an empire just like Rudy from Alpha Investments has. And what I heard in one of his recent videos was that on release, he moves like 95% of product or more. And that really shocked me. I don't know why it did, but that sparked me to talk about this because I realized that I don't have enough capital for this. I need to sell all of this and buckle down for when the bear market hits so I can be extremely consolidated in my holdings to what I want to be at. I don't want to have a Marnie tournament collection, a Juniper tournament collection display, 20 different sets of ETBs, one of every booster box. I want to have 100 of the same booster box set, 100 of the other one, 100 ETBs of the same set that I have conviction in. That's why I need to sell it now, because I'm not making nearly enough cash flow to be where I want to be. Because unless you're like Rudy, who is selling millions of dollars of product on release, or let's say hundreds of $1,000s of product on release, then, or on a, let's say you can move product consistently. If you have a platform like that, yes, you are rich enough to buy and hold Pokemon cards. But if you're just like me, if you don't even have a business and you're just taking money out of your job, you should work on building up that capital position to really, really take advantage of opportunities. Because what if all your money's tied into Steam Siege, and for 10 years it doesn't move a penny? But there's so many good sets that came after that. Team Up, Evolving Skies, Hidden Fates, so many sets that you could have bought, but you're missing because your opportunity cost is buying those, spending all your capital at one spot because you're not rich enough. So what we need to work on is building up our cash flow. If once you get to a certain point where you're happy with the amount of cash flow you have, that you can continuously you are making enough profit that you can buy, let's say you want to buy 10 booster boxes per release. You can buy your 10 booster boxes, put it away, and then and then not touch it. You don't have to sell it no matter what. Then you're good. But for most people, especially new people getting into it, you don't have that kind of capital. And I know you're not going to be happy buying your Journey Together booster box and sitting on it for 10 years for it to go up $50, and you missed up on 50 different opportunities that could have made you a trillionaire, right? So that's basically the gist of it. If even Rudy has to sell 95% of his allocation on release, you can't be buying everything on release and just holding it forever, right? Because you need cash flow. He's able to get great prices from distribution and great allocations because he has such a big account, because he buys so much on release. But it's not because he's buying it and holding it and just pulling money out of nowhere. It's because he's turning over most of the inventory. 95% to him may be, let's say, a couple thousand boxes. So 5% remaining, he's still holding like 100 to 1,000 boxes, who knows. But to me and you, 95% may mean that you're selling almost everything, right? And that's because that's the scale you need to be at to be rich enough to be just putting it away. But for now, you need to work on building up the capital, the cash pile, like I will be doing. I am selling my investments at wonderful gains, and still some of them continue to rise. And that's okay, because you can never time the market perfectly, and I want to have capital for the next bear market. I am not going to miss it this time, and it's going to be it's the opportunity of your lifetime if you're looking to start your own business in Pokemon cards, because you need that big break. You need that break for when to get it in the good books with your distributor and to have a massive stockpile of products to sell that you got at incredibly discounted rates for when the time comes that the bull market hits and everything is so elevated in price. And you need to have that product that you saved up all that capital to buy. Or let's say, in addition to that, work on building your business, building whatever you're doing to have an extra stream. You need to have cash flow coming in. Whatever you're doing, you need cash flow. Maybe you're working your job, whatever, and you make a lot of money. Sure, you don't have to sell Pokemon cards to invest in them. You don't have to run a Pokemon business to invest in them, but make sure you're building up that you have that cash flow that you will be able to buy at any opportunity, and you won't miss any opportunity that you need to buy in. Because that's happened to me way too many times where I was just horribly capitalized. I had too much money in one thing and I couldn't buy the next opportunity. And all I could do was buy it on credit card and flip it, right? And you have to flip it because you're not going to pay that credit card interest. But if you have a cash position, a huge cash pile sat on that you can look to whenever there's a sudden crash or a gradual crash, then you suddenly wake up and you're like, wow, I can buy the new release at 80% of MSRP. Well, then there's your opportunity. You can deploy so much capital and buy it at discounted rates. So that's my future plan. I've been talking about this for months, and I'm slowly doing it because I'm selling at the right prices. I'm not fire selling, but I'm selling most of the investments slowly but surely. And I'm going to talk about it in a different video for what I've sold so far and how it's going. But my thesis remains the same. You need to sell your investments and build up that cash position and build up the cash flow, because me and you were not rich enough for it. Maybe one day, but not today. And none of us are at that position like Rudy is, where he can just sit back and not worry because he will have the capital, right? But even him, he said that he worries if, let's say, he takes on thousands of boxes from the distributor, right? And no one wants to buy it because, again, cash flow. Cash flow is king in this business, where even if you're making investments, you still need cash flow. But yeah, that's it for this video. That's what I'm here to talk about. Just the most key important thing when investing in Pokemon cards. Do not forget it. You need to be having good capitalization, have cash flow, and have cash to buy at good opportunities. Don't get caught with your pants down with no cash and a ton of Steam Siege, right? So yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what moves you're making, anything. I'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed, you can watch any of the videos on the screen if you want to hear more, and subscribe to join the journey.